In this hour, in the wake of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's recent meeting with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, India has decided to send Secretary Ambassador Pawan Kapoor to the Ukraine Peace Summit in Switzerland, representing its diplomatic stance amidst the conflict. With extensive experience, including a tenure in Moscow during the Russia-Ukraine war, Kapoor's role underscores India's strategic engagement. His selection signals India's cautious diplomacy, navigating ties with Russia amidst global discussions on resolving the crisis. Pratmesh Tangle is joining us for more details on this story. Pratmesh, what do we make of India's representation in Switzerland and what all is on the agenda of the summit?
Yeah, correct. If we see that PM Modi just now went to G7 summit and he met Zelensky there, president of Ukraine, and there he had conversation with Zelensky and he has said that we need to we need to find the peace in Ukraine and Russia war, because this war is affecting too many people's lives as well as now. So on this in Switzerland on 15th and 16th, the summit is taking place. The summit name has been given as Peace in Ukraine. So in this, from our country, Pawan Kapoor is going to Switzerland, and he will be doing this. He will be a delegation from India, which will be going, and he will be also trying to maintain the peace in the Ukraine in this summit. As from America also, Joe Biden is not there. He's busy in G7 summit. So from there, Vice President Kamala Harris is also attending the event. Almost 100 countries delegations are coming there, and somewhere all the countries are trying to find the peace in Ukraine and Russia war, because in this, like, innocent people are lost their lives, and now also the situation is not under control the way we see. But now all the countries are coming together and trying to make the peace in Ukraine. Yes, over to you.
Right. Stay with us, Pratmesh. Robinder Sachdev, international affairs expert, also is joining us. Robinder, what do you make of this strategic decision to send this senior diplomat to Switzerland? Of course, Prime Minister Modi himself is not attending that peace summit. Obviously, we're navigating our relations extremely, closely and carefully in this particular, situation between Russia and Ukraine, isn't it?
So very true, sir. Couple of things. I will say, at the risk of sounding a little bit, this is not a peace summit. This is an anti-Russia summit, right? Or let's say this is a Team Ukraine summit, that these are the countries who are standing with Ukraine and who demand peace. Let's say, okay, it can be peace in that sense, because if it were a peace summit, there should have been a representation from Russia at whichever level. That's one. Second, India not going at the head of state level or government level, I think is absolutely fine. But I would think that there must have been a lot of pressure on India from the US and European partners that India should send a high level delegation, up to the level of Prime Minister Modi. He was there for G7. It's just a half an hour detour to go to Switzerland, and spend 1 hour there and come back to India, right? And in fact, the summit was timed, by the way, in this manner that the G7 would be happening so that many or whosoever is coming to G7 could also quickly hop over to Switzerland for this summit. Now, coming to India, I think our response is, I would say, really smart, sophisticated, right? Pawan Kapoor is our Secretary West, right? So he's in the ministry in charge of what's happening, let's say, in Europe, West, for example. So I think it's very appropriate for, let's say, a senior official of our MEA to attend. And I think it would be more as an observer, because we should have an idea. Yes, no doubt, even it's a Team Ukraine meeting, we should have an idea, which way the winds are blowing in Europe. What are these guys thinking, talking, etc. So one would obviously be that, component of Mr. Ambassador Kapoor's, overall, that to see what all is going on, who's talking what and heading where. And then, of course, to contribute and to present India's view as he would have been asked at some of the panel or something like that, right, as to what India looks. And India would be saying that this is not the era of war. Dialogue and diplomacy is the way ahead. So that is how I look at this summit.
Yes. Okay. Let me, in fact, ask you though, Robinder Sachdev, it's quite interesting as this comes very soon after PM Modi met with President Zelensky in Italy. Also, India's stance has been appreciated the world over our, of course, push for dialogue between the two, and and not being in a hurry to just pick sides for the sake of it.
So very true. I think India's stance also, I mean, one was Modi ji's famous statement, actually, really, when he said that this is not the era of war, this is the era to live and let live. When he said with Putin in a public statement at Samarkand, I think the SCO summit, right? So that is there. Now, I mean, what is happening? And then secondly, yes, the G20 declaration, right? Whatsoever it be, to bring everybody under a certain umbrella inside a tent, at least to agree on some common words, India managed to achieve that. So India is there, and we are a voice, a moral voice, actually, also in world affairs. And there would come a time when this war would would have to be frozen or paused or whatever. At that time, I think India could be invited to play a role. Right now, I think we should not be in a hurry, exactly as you said, because right now we do not have any chips or levers, excuse me, to negotiate. The interests are so entrenched of both Ukraine and Russia, they will not move merely on goodwill. They will move only if their arm twisted or their reality they face, they want to change themselves. So at a point when Ukraine would be ready for that, and by Ukraine it also means Europe and all those US, to look at a pause in a serious manner, and Russia also, at that time when both parties are willing or interested, I think that would be the right time, and India would be a great candidate to act as a mediator between these two sides at that point of time.
All right. Thank you, Rupinder Sachdev, for joining us with your perspective.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.